welcome to the semi-clean desk of the 389 project. Uh, if you're familiar with the 389 project, then this explanation is not necessary. But if you are not, what the 389 project is a attempt to bring the Peterbilt 389 to the modeling community. Yes, there's some hoods out there and there are some headlights out there and a few small things that out within the community, shapeways, things like that. What we are doing is building a complete conversion kit. You can see here one of these kits. And what they consist of is a hood, dashboards, grills, DPF box, whoops, excuse me, def tanks, full interiors, door panels, headliner. There's even a little tiny CB radio in there. Yeah. Let's see, we got battery boxes with primary and secondary air tanks, as well as somewhere in here, there we go, we have mirrors. And so these kits are getting ready to go out very soon to people just like you. But today what we're doing is we are getting ready to demonstrate the parts here at the 389 project by actually doing an Atalieri build. So we are going to start with this model kit, and we are going to begin from the beginning. However, what we will not be doing is using most of the parts of that kit. While yes, we've created hoods and we've created dashboards and we've created battery boxes and def boxes and DPF boxes and def tanks and a variety of other things, we have also created a wide variety of many other things as well, such as frame rails that are extendable to any length that you would wish them to be. This particular one happens to be about 375-inch wheelbase. You can sort of see it here, even though the airbags are not added to it. We've created a complete new front end. This needs a little bit more work before we can release it. It's a little bit wide for the hinges there. You can see here we have a highly detailed, very highly detailed X15 Cummins motor. Again, this is a set of frame rails that are more adapt to the length of the Atalieri, but we won't be using this on this particular build. We want to use the Atalieri build for that, but these are basically the same length as these frame rails, which are Atalieri. But there are a couple of differences. If you notice here on the tail end, this is about the proper taper for a true Peterbilt frame rail, whereas this is a lot sharper. And so it's not exactly accurate, so we may have to do a little bit of adjusting for that and then move our axles up just a hair. It's hard to say. We'll see as we go along. But anyway, these are some of the frame rails that we've created here at the 389 project. We have a variety of other things. Reaching over here to grab. This is our mock-up model. This is a 378 cab, Italieri cab that we've been using as an experiment for quite a few years. So it's pretty beat up. You'll see that we've cut the windows out. We've cut the holes for the door handles. Variety of different things just to see how well we could do it. We're going to set that back on there. We have created a replacement version of the cross member. All right, resuming video. We have created a new, if you'll look here, get some of that out of the way. We've created a new cross member. Here, I'm going to peel this thing out of here because I did not glue it in intentionally. We've created a new cross member, and you can see with all the 389 cross members, they're all passed through for when you want to do your wiring or running hose lines or what have you. We've created some pass-through, which we'll be using on this entire kit. But this particular one, you can see we've created this little riser here, and this little riser is intended to replace the factory Italieri riser. It is just, if you'll notice, it is a tad bit shorter, and that is by design, because the 389 cab sits about 2 inches lower than the 378 cab does. And so okay, I think we are set up and recording. So let me get this off of my screen. We're currently trying to create a mesh for the grill while we are but we're having troubles with it. So I have a few things on the printer right now printing. As you have probably read, we're having an issue with grills and hoods right now not lining up properly. So we have things taken off the truck over there so that we can do that. But we're going to move forward on this build process today. Okay, so this is your standard Italieri frame. All right, move that over to this camera here. All right, it has some rivets along the top, or excuse me, has some bolts along the top, which we've kind of sanded off, but that's not our problem. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Our problem is here. Okay, the problem is that this part, which is your forward cab support, okay, I'm going to move over to this camera, which is your forward cab support, okay, which makes the corrections for the front end of the cab, needs to fit just about here. It can set behind it, it can set in front of it if your cab lines up properly there. We will find that out as time goes on. But this is about where it needs to be. So what we've done is we're going to put that frame aside for a little bit. And we're going to bring this one in. You can see I have puttied this one and filled all the holes. All right, because you're not going to really need the holes as you move forward with your project, because you're going to have to move things around, such as the fuel tanks and all of that for the DEF and for the DPF, etc. So what we did is we took this piece here, which is the problem, okay, and we've shaved it down. Now you have to be really careful when you do this, because it will also weaken the frame right at this point right here. So you don't want to take too much off, you don't want to take off too little. So what we did is we took our little measuring tape, we measured down 7 millimeters. All right, and we took our little paint marker, and we painted that off like so. Then we took an X-Acto knife. Where did mine go? There we go. And we sliced across here like so. Okay, we sliced across there, and then we slowly shaved that portion out. Okay, until we got to this. All right, and this is what we're looking for right here. So now this cab support can now set in there just right over the top of it. So that's the first major modification. All right, now we're at the point where we're going to finish off this frame. As you can see, we puttied it up, puttied all the holes out, and now we're just going to sand it down and get her ready for the next step. Again, you want to be careful when you're doing this kind of stuff, because as you're taking material off, you are weakening the frame for the most part. So you want to be very careful not to take off too much material. And just get it down to where your holes are filled up and everything's even and square, so that when you go to prime it, you won't have spots on it. And then when you go to paint it, you further won't have spots on it.